Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Samantha. Thank you so much for joining me. This video is a bit of a fun video because I just wanted to chat with you a little bit while I box braid. So while I do a quickie protective style, and I say quickie because it was real quick, I wasn't gonna sit there for hours and hours. So I'm just doing some box braids, and I'm going to be the first to admit that I am not good at braiding. I'm not the best at braiding. But I learned, during the lockdowns because we couldn't go anywhere. So I thought, you know what, I better give it a go. So my hair is stretched out there, and I'm going to tell you straight off that I did not blow dry my hair. I stretched out my hair using African threading, and I guess this is just another demonstration that you don't need to use heat to stretch your hair. And I'm using these extensions, which are the pre-stretched ones. I found these, I discovered them during I think the first lockdown, I think when I started doing my braids, because again, I've seen professionals, the way they part them and the way they stretch them, etc. I thought, I can't do that. So I was so happy to find these. They make life so much easier. So if you're just starting out, then I really, really recommend that you get them. And then I'm just going to use a rat tail comb just to part my hair, and it's a process. I'll say it's a process. Honestly, I don't know. I guess I'm just not well coordinated enough, to part my hair. I find it such a struggle. So if you've got any tips at all, please, 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 please let me know in the comments. How do you part your hair? So easily. I've heard some people say it takes them maybe an hour or two to part their hair if they're doing box braids, but I just don't have the patience for that. So I kind of just go with it and make a parting. It is important to do nice clean parts, mainly because then you avoid webbing, which can lead to matting and breakage and the rest of it. So as you can see, I do try my best, but gosh, I find it so hard. Um, I find it really hard. But anyway, you know what? It's not going to put me off. Even if my parts things are not the best, it's not going to put me off. I'm just going to still go ahead and do it. So I just sectioned my hair. I didn't want to do small braids, small sections. So I just parted my hair into reasonable size sections. One, I think makes it quicker, makes the process quicker, but also I find in my personal hair journey that it reduces breakage. And also it's much easier, much quicker to take down. So I don't know how to do knotless braids, so I'm just doing sort of the traditional way where you take a piece and interlock them. Well, you take a piece or a section of the hair, an amount of the extensions, divide them into three, take 1/3 and you loop it around those 2/3, and then you end up with three. I suppose, I don't know, whatever you call them. I don't even know what you call them, branches. If you know what they're called, please let me know in the comment section below. So I don't like tight braids, absolutely not, because one, it just gets so painful, and two, as we know, tight braids can lead to traction alopecia, and my edges are still recovering, so I'm going to take the best care of them, and I'm not going to put them under any strain at all. So I know a lot of people will say, if you're going to get your hair braided by a professional, you need to straighten it. Some people go as far as doing like what do you call it? Silk press? Yeah, silk press. But I definitely am against that. I don't think anybody should be forced to doing things they're not comfortable with if they don't want to, just because a braider insists on something. I think if a braider says, you have to straighten your hair doing silk press or using a lot of heat on your hair, if you're not comfortable with that, then you should speak up and say, you're not comfortable with it and you're not going to do it, and find another braider who will. Most of the time, the braiders can actually braid the hair where the hair is not bone straight. And you know, our hair, unless you do a silk press, is not going to be bone straight, you know. And even then, sometimes it can revert a little bit, you know, before you end, if they spritz in your hair or something, because moisture, the minute the moisture touches your hair, yeah, it's going to start to revert. So yes, it does help if the hair's straight, or stretched. I'll say stretched because my hair's not straight there. So it does help if the hair is stretched, and I found that one, it makes it neater, particularly at the ends. It's much easier to then sort of tuck the ends in if the hair has been stretched. And I find that's important because if you want to do a protective style, then the most important thing is to protect the ends as well as the shaft and the roots, of course. So if your ends are sticking out, then they're not protected and they're going to get damaged, because the friction that will come with, you know, wearing braids, etc., that can cause split ends. So it's important to try as much as you can to tuck them in. And I find that it does make the braiding process much quicker if your hair is stretched. So I can totally understand why, you know, professional braiders will want your hair to be stretched as much as possible. But I think, you know, have a conversation with your braider, you know, try and establish a good rapport, hopefully a good relationship, so that you feel comfortable to express yourself and say what you're comfortable with and what you're not comfortable with. And then hopefully you can come to a compromise and still come out of the salon with your hair looking good. So as you can see, my ends are tucked in, and yeah, it does take some practice, because I remember when I first started, my ends, you know, would still curl up and coil out of the extensions, and it would do my head in, you know, and I just had to keep practicing. So again, this is just encouragement for anybody who's starting out. You do not have to be perfect. I've been braiding for maybe a couple of years, but look at me. They're not perfect. But you know what, even these braids, they're still going to protect my hair and give my hair a break. So yeah, it's still okay. And over time, I'm sure that I'm going to get better with my parting and even with my braiding technique. So don't be disheartened if you find that, you know, they don't look as good as professional. You know, if you're starting out, they're not. But over time, practice makes perfect. So something else that I've noticed a lot of people use nowadays is this thing called Shine Jam. I've never used it. I've never bought a tub, so I'm not even sure what it actually looks like. I imagine it's a waxy substance. And from my reading around it and watching some YouTube videos, it seems to be something that people use to keep the parts or the partings nice and neat and tidy. So I imagine that it's like you're molding the hair into place. So you apply this jam onto the scalp and then you part your hair, and then that will keep that part as it is. So sometimes when you're parting your hair, some of the hair still escapes and move on to the wrong side. So I imagine applying something like that jam or some waxy substance is going to help prevent that, and that might be a good thing to do if you want to prevent any sort of webbing or borrowing of the hair, as it's sometimes called. So I've never used waxy substances on my hair, so I'm a little bit apprehensive. But if you've used Shine Jam or anything similar, please let me know in the comment section if what you thought about it, and if it's something that you'd actually recommend, and say, yeah, every time you braid your hair you should use, because I do want to learn new things and try new things, as long as it's safe for my hair. Obviously, I'm not going to take high risks with my hair. Definitely not. But if it's something that you think might be beneficial, then definitely. I think I read somewhere that things like the Shine Jam or other types of waxy products can help to prevent flyaways as you're braiding, and that might make it easier to tuck in the ends. And if there's something that can help with that, then I definitely want to try it. So let me know if if this is the case. And also, um, I'm not sure whether or not it'll make my hair dry or soft or what. No idea. I've used products with beeswax before, and it did feel, waxy and kind of soft, I suppose. So I wonder, does it help to keep the hair moisturized for longer? Immediately after braiding the hair or what. But the other thing I'm curious about is that, if you apply this waxy stuff onto your hair, are you then able to effectively moisturize your hair whilst you have your box braids in? Because if you know me, I like to moisturize my hair while my hair is in a protective style. And if stuff like the Shine Jam is going to prevent that, then perhaps I probably shouldn't use it. I don't know. So I am asking for your advice, but I've also realized I'm probably talking myself into buying a tub just because I'm now so curious as to what it could do. And then, of course, as you know, I'll report back so that I can test it for you before you go and buy it and try it. But if you've actually had experience with it, if you've used it before, then let me know in the comment section whether or not you think, yeah, something you'd actually recommend and what your experience with it was. So something else that I thought I should mention is just the importance of choosing the extensions that you're going to use. If you're going to use extensions on your hair, it's really important to get extensions which are of decent quality. So I use cheap ones here. They're not like the most expensive, etc. But these ones are decent, and I've used them before, and I was happy with them. These are expression braids, so they've been around for a long time. And I do think it's important to be careful when you're picking out the extensions to use, because some of them are loaded with chemicals, and you could actually have a bad reaction to them, and you could end up with trouble, and they could actually damage your hair. So you want to choose ones of decent quality. And for me, I always choose light ones. I don't want, heavy ones which are going to weigh down on my hair. And that's why, you see that I wasn't adding a huge amount of hair, because that can cause traction and pull your hair out, or, even right from the roots, and cause horrible traction alopecia. And I also highly recommend that you get extensions which are quite smooth, because then again they'll cause less friction on your hair strands, and therefore you're going to get less breakage. In terms of what to do in terms of preparing the extensions, I've used these extensions plenty of times, and I've never had problems. But I know that sometimes some people may be allergic to some of the chemicals that may be used to either preserve the extensions, or prevent moths or something growing on the extensions. So sometimes it's actually a good idea to detox your extensions or wash your extensions beforehand. And the best thing to do in that situation is to actually basically soak them in an apple cider vinegar rinse. So you mix up your apple cider vinegar with some warm water, and then dip the extensions in, soak them in for a while, and that will help to remove any chemicals that the company may have put on the extensions. If you've used extensions and you've not had a problem, then you're unlikely to have a reaction. I mean, I've used them, I tried them beforehand. You know, I tested them, as you know, I've got a lot of allergies, so I tested them beforehand. It didn't have a reaction, so I know it's safe for me to use them straight out of the packet. But if you've never tried extensions before, you're not sure, or if you had a bad reaction to some extensions in the past, it may be because of the chemicals, and doing an apple cider vinegar rinse on them is a good idea. If you don't have access to apple cider vinegar, you can use even just plain vinegar, would still be better. Or what some people do is actually just wash them in shampoo and conditioner. And you do want to add conditioner afterwards, because then that will help to soften them. So yeah, that's another thing I thought I should just mention. So in terms of taking care of your hair while you're wearing your extensions, box braids, or whatever type of protective style, it is crucial that you take care of your actual hair. Because if you don't, that neglect, you will pay for that neglect, because your hair could get really, really dry, and your scalp can get really, really dry and irritated and flaky, and you could end up losing a lot of hair unnecessarily. So a lot of people ask me, you know, do I wash my hair when I've got my box braids in? That's a personal choice, because I know some people don't wash their hair, or I do, just because, you know, that's what I do. I'm not saying everybody should. It really depends on your hair, basically. I know some people get a lot of matting if they wash their hair. I would probably guess that it's probably the way they wash their hair and what they use to wash their hair with that causes those issues. The most important thing to do is to make sure that you remove shampoo and conditioner thoroughly. Because if you leave shampoo and conditioner in your braids, that's going to be like glue, and your hair will stick. You know, your hair strands will stick to each other, and you'll get matting. Matting is also a result of dryness. So if you wash your hair but then you don't maintain the moisturization, then your hair could get matted afterwards. So I've done a video showing you how I moisturize my hair when my hair is in a protective style. I've shown a video how I detox my hair when it's in a protective style, and I'll put links to those videos in the description box below, because I think it's really important for you to understand the cause of some issues. So the root cause of, you know, dryness and breakage when you've got a protective style, it can be improper installation. It can be because you sectioned your hair, you know, very small, and it was just too much hair attached to your own hair, and that weighed your hair down. It could be the extensions themselves, that they were not a good quality and caused damage. Or chemicals in the extensions, but also it could just be that you weren't maintaining your hair properly while you had your hair in the protective style. So if, like me, you wash your hair when you've got your box braids in or any other protective style, one, it's important to remove the shampoo conditioner, and two, it's important to add the moisture back in, because those extensions, particularly if you use extensions, they're going to suck out the moisture from your hair. So it's important to put that back in, and that's why it's crucial that you keep moisturizing your hair while it is in a protective style. So the other thing is not to keep your protective style in for too long. Maximum for me is, you know, on average 4 weeks, a month. I mean, there was one time when I kept them in for 5 weeks, and I was freaking out because I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Again, that's a personal choice. I'm not saying that's what everybody should do, but the recommendation is to keep your protective style for a short time, and then take the extensions out, or your protective style out. You know, do your TLC, wash, condition, deep condition, all those things. You know, nourish your hair, strengthen your hair before you put another protective style in. And as for preparing my hair, what I did, I washed and conditioned my hair, but I also did a mini protein treatment to strengthen my hair. Because I'm not going to be doing that on a regular basis. And also because I know this, even though there's not a lot of manipulation while my hair is in a protective style, braiding it is quite a lot of manipulation. And when I'm taking the protective style down, again, there'll be quite a lot of manipulation. So I like to do a strengthening treatment so that I minimize breakage. And what I use in order to strengthen my hair, I use a mini protein treatment, and I'll share with you some of my favorites. But also I usually pre-poo with something like fenugreek because of the strengthening properties that it has, and it also helps to detangle my hair. My hair loves fenugreek, and I found if I use that as a pre-poo before I do a protective style, my hair is in much better shape once I take the protective style out. So that's me done. As you can see, I'd finished. Obviously, you can tell this was DIY and definitely not by a professional, but I was happy with it, and it'll keep my hair protected for a while. I'm not sure how long it will last, but that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed that and found it useful, that I shared some information that you found useful. And to all my subscribers, a massive, massive thank you. I really appreciate your support. It means the world to me. And also thank you to everybody who comes and engages with the content. If you've not yet subscribed, then please, please, please subscribe, and get your friends and family to subscribe as well. And also please give the video a thumbs up and sign up for notifications. So I'll see you in my next video. Until then, take care of yourselves and your loved ones. God bless. Bye for now.